Hi everyone, it is October 20th, 2025, and I am here with the latest update for the H-1B $100,000 fee. USCIS has published more clarity today in terms of what is now exempted and what isn't exempted from this brand new massive fee. This much needed clarity was really something that the market demanded and what people really needed in order to determine whether or not their companies or the employees that they are sponsoring would need to pay this massive barrier of entry to the United States. As of right now, I'm going to give you a recap in terms of what has happened so far, the people who are exempted, and the people who may be the most impacted now that we have the strongest amount of clarity that we have seen so far. Just remember that on September 19th, the government decided to publish updated guidances when it came to this imposition of a $100,000 fee. The proclamation was announced that day, submitted online for our review, and it started with the understanding that everybody who was on any H-1B petition could be subjected to that particular fee. Then in that weekend, from the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, we got social media posts from the press secretary and following statements from other agencies that try to express more information and clarity on who needed to pay this fee or not. A lot of the confusion had to do with whether or not transfers were counted, what was considered exempted in the idea of what is a renewal. However, at the end of the day, what ended up happening was that each agency seemed to have a little bit of a different flavor of what counted and what didn't count. What we knew is that if anyone filed or had a pending application from September 21st, 2025 prior to 12:01 a.m. EDT, you were exempted. So what does the new news and update that came out today say? Most importantly is that if after this particular date you have filed a transfer, extension of status, or amendment in the United States from a valid status, you are exempted from the $100,000 fee. To make that even more clear, to give an example, if you are, let's say, on an F1 visa, changing status to an H-1B domestically in the United States and you are not outside of the country, you are exempted from the fee. After the approval of that particular application, you can also subsequently travel and not be impacted by the fee. So let's make this even more clear one more time. If you are in the United States on valid status and you are changing into or submitting an extension of status for an H-1B or seeking an H-1B amendment, you are exempted from this $100,000 fee. Please note the government does say that if you have a pending application for any of those three kinds of applications, you should wait in the United States until you have been approved before you leave the US for travel, and you can do consular stamping afterwards so long as that case was approved domestically in the United States while you were in the United States on that valid status. I will also say the people who would need to pay that fee specifically are individuals who are filing an H-1B for consular notification. So what does that look like? If, let's say, you are a UK national outside of the United States and you qualified for a cap-exempt H-1B, if an application is filed seeking that cap-exempt H-1B for consular notification, you would be subjected to the $100,000 fee in order to get this H-1B adjudicated and for you to come to the United States. So let's repeat that one more time. If you are seeking consular notification for your H-1B and you are outside of the United States and you do not have a valid H-1B visa stamp, this exemption does not cover you and you will need to pay the $100,000 fee. I will also note that one of the most important aspects of the clarifications is that the government is re-emphasizing the carve-out where certain industries or certain companies can try to argue to DHS for an exemption based on national interest. So if you meet this extraordinary level of standard, and the government has emphasized that it will be rare and at the discretion of DHS to issue this, you can try to apply by submitting an email to the email address that is designated on the USCIS website. I will encourage that employers and employees carefully consider whether or not they qualify for this exception. It's really only for individuals who are able to prove that it is not going to impact American workers for them to be exempted from this fee, and that there is a national interest to that particular alien worker's role in the US. All of this is to say that these are the latest updates. Do not hesitate to reach out to us if you need any information regarding this updates to the H-1B $100,000 fee, and follow us to make sure that you are very much ahead of the news, getting the latest and greatest when it comes to immigration.